The grandmother has been a lawful permanent resident since 2005, but then in like 2018, she had to leave to care for her parents back in China. She couldn't get back and she's been out for over 5 years. So this video is about how we got her back, but the craziest part of the story is how we were audited for like 9 months. And I didn't even know until last week when I saw her face to face. So it's a very interesting story. Let's get to it. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Tsang and Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So the legal problem was a green card holder has been out of the US for over a year. Technically, the law, you're not supposed to be outside for too long. Her reentry permit expired. She had family emergency, she had health problems herself, she's out of the country. But her family, retirement, everything is in the US. So we knew we would be able to get her back. So first, she had an 8-year-old granddaughter who was diagnosed with all sorts of these problems, and they had to go back to China for bone development treatments. And then the reentry permit expired, and then she was out of the US, and then COVID hit. Her parents had to go through surgery, and then the US ties were quite strong. She has a house in Los Angeles. I love the fact that we proved that she had a Toyota Camry and a Honda Civic, and it's mainly because she had to take care of her parents and her own granddaughter. She had to go back, and then COVID and the time was very long. It's a very typical middle-class American life. She had a green card since 2005, right? So she has a long history here in the US. She's not like one of those other more difficult cases where she's constantly out of the US, in the US for only a few weeks, and then suddenly years not in the US. She's pretty much all here, and then this one big event happened, and then now she wants to come back. But her family is here, she has a house here, she pays her taxes. So we felt, based on this scenario and with a strong family, we will be able to build a convincing case. But the crazy part is that we didn't even get to build this case until we were fully audited by her and her entire family. They have strong US connections here. When I saw her, she was like, I finally got to see you, but just so you know, we actually inspected your office 3 different times prior to this. They got their family members to come to our office physically 3 different times, as well as email, as well as phone call. They checked with the travel agency. Every step of the way, she was so paranoid and the family was so worried that the entire family was gonna fly to Mexico and stay with her at Marriott, and then I would have to pick up everybody and go through. And I just explained that's actually gonna worsen your case. Like if you have one family member, US citizen, that's gonna accompany you, that's fine. You know, I can explain that away. But if you're like, you're bringing your entire village with you, I mean, it's just unnecessary, especially for a case like this. Maybe if it's a super weak case and we need a whole team of people on their knees begging, maybe that's a different story. We haven't met that kind of story yet. But for this case, I felt it was like a 98% chance. So they decided, okay, then we will wait at the border. We'll be like standing there with a sign and everybody ready. So Margaret and I went to Marriott, picked her up. She saw us, spilled the whole thing about how she couldn't believe, because nobody's ever talked about this, like going to Mexico and then presenting documents, like this is crazy. But after checking it thoroughly for 9 months, this was the right path for her. We picked her up, came through, and the thing is, none of the family members were there. Their family was expecting to be at the border by like 10 or 11. They didn't even finish breakfast and we were out by like 7:30. And then they got there, they embraced, they haven't seen each other in like more than half a decade. It was very touching. We're just so happy for this grandmother and this entire family. The grandmother was so sweet. The family is so nice. I was able to talk to the grandfather as well, and they were just so happy to be together. It's just a very ordinary middle-class American life in the US. Something tremendous happened. You know, they had to leave. They were out for so long. They gave up all hope. They were pretty much, the whole family village was gonna just move back to China because the grandmother, right, the matriarch of the family wasn't here anymore. Then what's the point of being here? But once they found out that this was a potential solution, everybody rallied around and we made it work. So I just wanted to share that story with you. This wouldn't have made the list of, you know, success stories. We do hundreds of these. And we only do the most crazy difficult ones, like being out of the US for 13 years. You know, this isn't even half of that, right? But being inspected for 9 months, and I think it's a good comparison to know, like, well, what does a 98% look like, you know, right? Because if we're always sharing what like a 10% looks like, you know, 10% difficulty, almost guaranteed denial, and we overcame it, you know, I think a good 98% to balance it out is good. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Take care. Bye-bye.